Hello and welcome to this introductory case study in this course, Winning Value Proposition Development. So in this lecture, we will take you through this case study of developing a winning value proposition and building your business with that. So here is the case study. It's a case study of one aspiring entrepreneur who moved from a generic me too business to a sharp winning value proposition and then used it to successfully build and grow his business. So let's take a look at this case study. So what was the situation? This is about, let's say, the name masked, face masked, Rohan Mehta, even gender masked. And he is, as a background, he's a 32-year-old professional with 7 years in corporate sales. Remember, 7 years in corporate sales. But what he wants to do is to start his own B2B service business, and that makes good sense because he has 7 years of experience in corporate sales. And his business idea has been to start a consulting service helping small businesses improve their sales performance because he has hands on experience of that, right? But he faces problems. He faces many problems. His initial pitch was vague when he started doing this. He said, "We help you grow sales," and didn't strike the chord. Prospects liked him personally, but did not see why was he different and why should they choose this. And the conversations ended with saying, "Sounds interesting, we'll get back to you." Or nobody was willing to pay the premium fees that Rohan was asking for. So Rohan felt stuck, right? He knew that he should add value, but he didn't know how to explain why they should choose me, not someone else. So that was the situation, right? Me to business without any specific reason why should they choose it. So let's dig deeper into the challenge. So he looked at the competitor websites and saw, what did they say? They say we help you grow your business. That's what he was also saying, right? We provide you end-to-end growth solutions. Not very different. We are your trusted sales partner. Again, very different. So Ron realized his message, it sounded exactly the same. He was running a Me Too business. He had no clear niche, no clear outcome, no clear differentiator. And he had essentially a business without a value proposition, right? So he was lost in the sea of sameness. And that was his challenge. So what was the turning point? The turning point was when a mentor asked him a simple question. So mentors are very good for that, right? The mentor asked him, if your ideal customer said, "Why should I work with you and not someone else?" What would you say? Can you answer that question in one concrete, compelling sentence? And he could not. So his mentor then said that until you can find that answer sharply, you don't have a business, you just have a service. And that hit him hard. But that was true. Especially the things that are true hit you hard. So he decided to build his business from the value proposition outward. So that was the turning from what I do to what they get. The first step in doing that was to choosing a specific customer and pain. So Rohan listed all types of clients he could serve: large corporates, mid-sized companies, small business owners, and even freelancers, right? He realized that large corporates already had structured sales teams and consultants. Mid-sized companies were harder to access, right? Small B2B businesses with 10 to 50 employees often had founder-led sales and no processes. And nothing to talk much about freelancers. They were very small to even do business. So he chose this segment of small B2B service providers with founder-led sales struggling to scale beyond 3 to 5 major clients. And he started interviewing such founders, almost like 20 plus conversations. He didn't pitch in that conversation. He researched. He asked, what frustrates you most about sales? What have you tried that didn't work? What would success look like for you in 6 to 12 months? And a pattern emerged. They were tired of motivational training with no results, right? They were tired. They didn't want any generic sales theory. They wanted simple scripts, clear follow up processes, and accountability. And their biggest pain was too dependent on the founder. Nobody else sells properly. So that was the specific customer and a pain that he chose. Then he designed a sharp value proposition, the core of what we are trying to do in this course. So instead of vague lines like we grow with your sales, he built a clear, testable value proposition based on what founders actually said, based on the 20 plus conversations he had. And what did he write there? He said, I help small B2B businesses to move from founder dependent selling to a simple, repeatable sales system in 90 days so that your team can bring in sales even when you are not in the room. So that was his value proposition. Now, this value proposition is powerful because it says who is this business for, right? Specifically, it is for small B2B service businesses. What is the specific problem that he is trying to solve, which is of founder dependent selling? What is the specific solution, which is simple, repeatable sales system? What is the specific time frame, 90 days? And what specific benefit the customers will get? The team will now be able to sell without founder. And he turned this into a one line answer to why should we choose you? And his answer was because I just don't train your people. I help you build a simple sales system that your team can execute without you in 90 days. So that was his sharp value proposition that he designed. Then he aligned the offer to the value proposition because a value proposition is empty if the offer doesn't deliver it. You need to have the offer that delivers the value proposition, and that's the key challenge. Now, his earlier offer was 1 day training, some templates and PowerPoints, and one can see that it had no chance of delivering what he was promising. Right? His entire engagement was ending in 1 day, where he's committing for 90 days. So he redesigned his offer around system building. His new offer was 90 days sales system build out, right? And that included mapping current sales processes, designing step by step outreach, follow ups, and closing scripts. Very specific. You can see that, right? Weekly role plays and coaching for the sales team, building a simple CRM pipeline view, and clear metrics to measure how well they're doing in terms of calls, meetings, proposals, and win rate. He could now say that we go from chaos to a documented, trackable sales system in 90 days, and now the offer matched the promise, right? So he aligned the offer to the value proposition. He didn't stop there. He didn't assume that it would work. Most of us do that. He decided to test it with 5 potential clients, right? And what did he do differently in these meetings with the 5 potential clients? So instead of long self introductions and slides about his experience, his own drumbeat, he started with their pain point. He uh, he told them, many founders I work with me tell me that if I stopped selling personally, the sales would stop. Is that true for you? Engaged. And almost every founder had said the same version of yes, exactly. Then he shared his value proposition that I help small B2B service businesses like yours move from founder dependent selling to simple, repeatable sales system in 90 days. And he then showed a before and after picture of what would happen. So before the founder had all the relationship, no process, random follow. And after this business, after this service or activity, the teams would use simple scripts, CRMs, weekly sales systems, and founder only joins when finally calls. So for the first time, the prospect responded with, this is exactly what we need. How does this work? How do we make it happen? And within a month, 3 out of the 5 signed for the 90-day program. So that's how the testing of the value proposition in real world happened. The fifth thing he did was for the first client, he documented either their current sales steps, built a basic pipeline in a simple CRM Google Sheet, created script for first outreach, discovery call, proposal follow-ups, and trained 2 junior team members and held weekly check-ins. Now, after 90 days of doing this for the first client, number of outbound calls went up 3 times, right? Number of meetings per week went up 2 times with the customers of the client. Founder no longer attended every first meeting, right? And the two deals were closed without founder being on the call. And he documented the results as a mini case from founder only sales to 2% sales system in 90 days. And that became his brand or product name. And also, this became his proof, his story in every page, and the engine to grow his business, right? So that's how he started doing. So, you know, the further journey, the business started building around the core value proposition. And how did it happen? He did clear targeting. He stopped trying to sell to everyone. He focused only on B2B service businesses with 10 to 15 employees with founder led sales. He had focused marketing messages. His LinkedIn website and emails all repeated some variant of, is your sales stuck because you are the only one who can close? If you step away from the sales, does revenue slow down? I help build a sales system that your team can run without you. And he made a consistent offer that he did not change every week. He refined one core program that he offered. And he used referrals and word of mouth so that client could understand what he did so clearly that they could easily refer it. They were told that he helps founders who are stuck along doing all the sales themselves. And within 18 months, he worked with 15 plus businesses, increased his pricing, hired one associate, and built a recognizable micro brand around founder to sales system transformation. So that's how the building of the business happened. So let's take a look at the framework, the value proposition blueprint that you can use for your work also. So this has the first step is to view the customer's world by asking a question, what is the painful situation that they're struggling with? And there what you need to do is research customers by interviewing them, listing specific pains during using their words, important. Then you articulate a specific outcome. What clear results do they want? And you define one to two measurable outcomes like time save, revenue, risk reduce, etc. Then you limit the who and what. Who exactly is this for and what their problem exactly is. And you choose a clear segment and a narrow problem, not everyone, not everything that you're trying to do. Then you uniquely position your approach. How is your approach meaningfully different from others? Is it faster, simpler, more specialized, more supportive, less risky, etc.? And then you finally express this in a one powerful sentence. The test of that is asking, can a stranger quickly understand why they should choose you? And you create this one sentence value proposition of for who, the problem, the result, and how and when. Right. And an example of this using his business is I help small B2B service businesses, that is his who are stuck with founder dependent selling, that is the problem, to build a sales system that the teams can run in 90 days. That's a solution. And the outcome and the benefit, the sales continues even after the founder steps back. So that's Rohan's framework of value proposition. So, what are the key lessons for developing a winning value proposition and building the business? You don't build a value proposition from imagination. You build it from customer reality. You talk to real people, listen carefully, and you figure out what is their problem and what that you can solve. Generic is equal to invisible. If you are generic, you're offering me too, then you are not visible in the market. The more specific your who and the problem is, the stronger the value proposition. The value proposition is not just the sentence, it must shape your offer, your marketing, and your operation. It's your core. I call it the center of your brand building. It's a nerve of your business. It's the brain of your business. And what you need to do is to prove it with a pilot client and see whether you are able to deliver results for a few early clients and turn that into a story and a case study. And finally, repeat your value propositions everywhere. Websites, LinkedIn, emails, call proposals, same core message. And that's how you start building your brand and business. So, what's the final takeaway? A winning value proposition is simply a clear, specific promise to solve a customer problem, a real problem for a defined customer in a way that meaningfully and measurably does better or differently. Once you have that, building the business becomes simpler. You know who to talk to, you know what to offer, you know what to say, and you know what to measure and how to measure success. So, what do we do in the next module? What else? We start talking about understanding the value proposition a little more deeply. I have an example that I will take you through, and we will build on that and look at the processes as we go forward in the course. So thank you so much for watching this introductory case study. I hope you're beginning to learn new things, beginning to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in this next lecture. Please do feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer the questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need.